There are 1,000 things that our moms did for us growing up that we didn't even really notice at the time. And now we are doing those things and realizing just how much really went into it.
You're listening to the Houses and Spouses podcast with Ryan Hamilton. Ryan Hamilton is a real estate agent with Good Oak Real Estate and the heart behind the I Do Guru, helping people build strong foundations, both in their homes and in their marriages. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to the Houses and Spouses podcast with Ryan Hamilton. I, of course, am Ryan Hamilton, local real estate agent here in the Phoenix and Tucson areas with Good Oak Real Estate and wedding officiant with the I Do Guru, amongst other things. And happy Mother's Day weekend. All right, this is going to be a quick hitter episode, Mother's Day special. But before we get to that, you know how we start this thing with the dad jokes. And as I'm getting older, I've realized that I'm starting to go around explaining the benefits of dried grapes to everybody, just how important they are. And basically, it's my way of raising awareness. Yeah. Okay, moms, I hope you like that out there. Little raisin joke. With Mother's Day here, I wanted to do something simple, but something that a lot of us can relate to, because the truth is there are so many things that moms did for us growing up that we just didn't fully understand or appreciate at the time. Okay, so I'm gonna dive into that. Three different concepts here. So they handled things that we never saw. When we were kids, life just worked. There was food on the table. There was dinner. Rides were there. Somehow we got to practices and games. Schedules, crazy, they happened. And we never questioned it as a kid, because as a kid, you don't have to question those kinds of things. But now, looking back, you realize someone was carrying all of that load, okay? Or at least some of that load. The planning, the stress, the mental load, the making sure that you're not forgetting anything that day. And a lot of that fell on mom. Second thing is they were consistent when we weren't paying attention. And it wasn't just the big moments either. It was the everyday stuff. Those rides to practice, the meals, the check-ins, the, hey, how was your day conversation, the recognition when something seems a little off and you're going to follow up with them. And the thing is, we don't notice it because it's always there. It's just part of our life, right? That consistency, that presence, and that kind of made everything else possible in our world. So my final point here is you don't fully understand it until you're in it. And I think this is the part that hits the most of today's. You don't fully understand it until you're in it yourself, until you're trying to juggle those schedules and make sure that the dinner's there and make sure that you're trying to be present and make sure that you are watching for the slightest little indication, you know, that maybe it's a good time now to check in with my kiddo. You're trying to show up. Trying to raise people that aren't assholes is really the goal here that Lindsay and I talk about all the time. And you're trying to get it right more often than you get it wrong, and it is tough. And so looking back now, Lindsay and I think, can definitely appreciate that more as we're raising these kiddos. And so before, we wrap this up, again, quick hitter, I want to take a minute to make this a little personal. My mom, I want to shout out my mom. She was always there, and I don't just mean physically. She showed up. She was games and school stuff and life stuff and all that kind of stuff. She had a consistent nature of her, about her that I probably took for granted when I was younger. And now being a dad, I can look back on that and I can see it and I can understand it. And it's one thing I don't think I've said enough. So Mom, I appreciate you. And my mom also, when my dad passed away, even though I was already an adult, she had to kind of fill in a different role as well. And she was grieving as well. So Mom, I love you. I appreciate you. And yeah, thanks for everything you do. And thanks for everything you've done. And now I get to see that same kind of impact, but from a completely different perspective. So watching my wife, Lindsay, as a mom, it's pretty incredible. She is the emotional center of our family. She's the one who makes sure that we're not just going through life, but that we're feeling it. We're feeling life. She encourages our sons to talk, to open up, to process things. And that's not always easy when you're raising 3 teenage boys. But she creates that space for them anyways. And because of that, hopefully, our boys are growing up not just as students or athletes or whatever, but as good, aware, hopefully emotionally grounded young men. So Lindsay, happy Mother's Day. You're doing an amazing job even on the days when it can sometimes feel like maybe you're not. I can tell you from an outsider's standpoint you are. You're an amazing mother. Happy Mother's Day. And finally, I'd be missing a big piece of this if I didn't take a second to recognize some of the other moms that are in our orbit here. Starting with my mother-in-law, Joanne. You raising 5 daughters is no small feat, and I think the family that you've built speaks for itself. Tori next door, being a mom to Sloan and Zaya while running a business and balancing everything with Zach. We see it. You're doing a great job. Madison raising Emma. I can tell you for certain, I've spoken to Emma about this. Maddie, she knows you're there for her, and she knows that you show up and that you love her. Kendall in Colorado, raising Grayson and Harlow. They are lucky to have you, Kendall. Don't forget that. And you've got that good mix of fun and balance that they need. Beth down in Benson, Chase and Cohen, you're right in the middle of it. Those are some youngsters. You're doing all the mom things every day that probably don't get talked about enough. So you're doing a great job down there. Happy Mother's Day to you as well. And I want to say this. I know not everyone has the same story when it comes to their mom. Some people have lost their mother. Some people don't have a strong relationship or a relationship at all with their mother. And maybe someone else has had to step into that role. But if you've had someone in your life who's shown up for you in that way, then this day and this weekend is for them as well. So don't be afraid to reach out to them and spread a little love and spread a little Mother's Day appreciation. And that's the message today. There are so many things that moms do that do not get noticed. But they're also the main reason, in my experience at least, why things are working, why everything else is going and working. So if you're lucky enough to still have your mom in your life or a motherly figure in your life, tell her something that you've been meaning to say. Don't wait for Sunday that's great too, but it's Friday right now when we drop this episode. Whenever it is, just let them know. Don't wait for the perfect moment. And as always, if you know somebody that's going through a big life moment, such as buying a home or getting married, and if they're a mom, that's a bonus. I'd love to help them through that. So let me know. I appreciate you all being here. Have a great Mother's Day weekend. Mom, happy Mother's Day. Lindsay, happy Mother's Day. I love you guys.
This has been the Houses and Spouses podcast with Ryan Hamilton. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and share this episode with someone who needs it. For real estate help or a wedding ceremony crafted with care, connect with Ryan online. See you next week.